Based on the science.
No, don't adjust the color on your monitor. You're watching in Vision. At least, that's what a company making a new line of camouflage is banking on. W.L. Gore, the maker of Gore-Tex, designed a new camo based on how deer see. For example, this is how we'd see a hunter in Gore's Optifade camo. And this is how a deer would see the same scene, according to scientists working with the company.
They have color vision, but it's a reduced form of color vision. It's very much like a red-green colorblind human being.
That's Jay Knights. He studies vision at the Medical College of Wisconsin, and he was a consultant on the new camouflage.
The second difference is that they do not have as high a visual acuity as we do.
Researchers have actually trained deer to take a vision test, and they've estimated that deer have about 20/40 vision. The third difference...
Deer have a much larger field of view than we have.
And that's because their eyes are set farther apart than ours, so their vision isn't as sharp, but they see more area. Alright, those are the basics of deer vision, so how do you hide from them?
That brings up a problem that has bedeviled camouflage designers for over 100 years.
That's camouflage designer Lieutenant Colonel Tim O'Neill.
And it's a question of whether we are matching the background or breaking up the shape of the target, which is more important. And the answer is both.
O'Neill figured out how to do both more precisely with his camouflage. He invented what's called digital camo. It was back in the 70s when he was a researcher at West Point.
And it was based on the way that the eye arranges and analyzes things by size.
The basic premise is that the texture of the world, the visual busyness and brightness, can be quantified mathematically, and that information can be fed into an algorithm that will create micro and macro patterns that will hide someone better.
The micro pattern is the little pixels.
And they provide
more and more details so that it matches the background. If you back off so far that you can't see the smaller picture elements, you still see these large light and dark blobs. They're designed to break up the geometry of the target.
These big patches make a person's outline hard to recognize. And that's important for humans and for deer, Knight says.
If an animal doesn't recognize it, it really doesn't see it.
W.L. Gore went one step further by tuning the camo to the deer's eye.
We had to make sure that the patterns matched the acuity of the animal.
And the color palette was carefully selected too.
It would be possible, if we didn't pay attention to that, to make a pattern that would look completely invisible to a human eye, but it would pop out for the deer's vision.
Knights is pretty confident that this Vision filter is true to how deer see the world, but whether that means hunters will be more invisible is another matter. It hasn't yet been tested in the field, and fortunately for the deer, they have their ears and noses to help them too.